Hello, hello, hello. Look what I've got. Yes, end of 2000 and, oh my goodness, 22. So I thought I would go through what I knit over 2022. Welcome. My name is Donna and I am Donna from Blind and Knitting. This is my little knitting video podcast that I do. That is my little corner of the world where I share all my knitting and crafts and a little bit about my life, my guide dog Kenzie. So just a little bit of everything, but 99% knitting. And as you can tell by that pile, I mean 99%. So I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and I wish you a very safe and happy New Year. And of course, you know, at the end of any year, we look at things and we start considering what we've done last year. And so I thought I'd do that with my knitting. This is the first time I've done it, so it's been quite interesting for me actually. This isn't, I'd have to say, it's probably not my normal knitting amount. There was some exceptional things that happened during the year that gave me opportunity or gave me rise to knit. So it's a hell of a lot, and I wouldn't say it's my normal. It's probably, I'm guessing 2/3 of it would be my normal, and there's probably an extra third there. So yeah, thank you for coming back to see me. If you are a return viewer, welcome. If you're a new viewer, and please subscribe. I would love to have you come and visit again if you enjoy my podcast. I've certainly spent all of Christmas watching so many podcasts. I've had the most wonderful break. I really have. I was determined to really have a good break this year. I wasn't feeling exhausted, and I think that was probably why I thought, right, you're not exhausted, have a really good break, because often we step off the treadmill from exhaustion into holiday mode, and that's when we get sick, which hasn't happened, touch wood, thankfully, to me so far. So I have had just one of the best holidays I've had in such a long time, full of grandchildren, which has been amazing. I've read 3.5 books. One book, I don't know if I'll even finish it, but certainly 3 books. And I've watched a couple of movies, and I very rarely watch movies. In fact, I cannot stay awake long enough to watch a movie, and I did. Just special times with the grandchildren, lots of rest, lots of knitting. Yeah, I took a month off, although I have been working part-time and doing bits. What I thought was, because I've set up my own business 3.5 years ago, and it's doing really well, but I've been working 6-day weeks. I've had some breaks, of course, and some holidays, but yeah, I just felt it was time to step off for a considerable break, which I've had. So I thought this one, I'm not going to talk too much about 2023 and what that's going to bring. I'm going to talk about what I've done in 2022, and there's quite a list, so we're going to get to them. I'll just have a quick drink of coffee. I hope you have got a drink of some sort to wet your whistle. I don't think I've even said where I'm from. So I'm in New Zealand. I'm in the lower part of the North Island, and it's just done nothing but rain. It's almost like we should be starting to build an ark. 40 days of rain and so forth. And we've got a cyclone coming. So yeah, that's something to really not to look forward to. It's a bit scary really, but there's a cyclone on the way. It is what it is. We just have to get on with it, don't we? We can't control the weather, but we can manage how we manage it. So what did I do last year? I'm going to start in kind of chronological order, so I'm going to start from the beginning of 2022, and the first thing I knit was my Bejeweled. Now this is a Libby Johnson pattern. It's a lovely scarf. It's really pretty. It's got little beads on the end of it, if you can see that. It's just really pretty. It's one of my favourite colours, pink. And I wear a lot of scarves. I'm a real scarf person. I think this is just lovely. And I made this out of a New Zealand, well, I don't know if it's a New Zealand wool, actually. It's called Sublime, and it's a cashmere, pure cashmere. It is butter soft, and that's one of the reasons why I did it around, because I like that around my neck. I did challenge, because I'm guessing by the title, if you don't know me, if you do know me, you know this, I'm legally blind, so I have just a really tiny vision, circular vision, about the size of my palm is about all I can see. The rest of it is totally black, and even that's not the best of vision. So putting beads on was interesting, but when you're determined and when you get so much satisfaction and pleasure from your crafts that you've done all your life, I have lost my sight. It's progressive slowly, so I obviously was fully sighted as a young adult, and just, I mean, I just made everything. All of my clothes, all my children's clothes, all of our undies, our knickers, everything. And as my sight deteriorated, I kind of lost my mojo for that, but I've got it back. So this was number one, Sublime. It's Libby Johnson pattern. It's from, it's one of that I love. Nice, and I've knitted in a DK because it's supposed to be a 4-ply pattern, but because of my sight again and lace, I wasn't very confident doing lace, although if you look closely, a knitter would find some mistakes, but you know, a blind man would be pleased to see it. But yep, really love that. So that was number one in the beginning of the year, and then my sister and then this one. This was my next one. Now, because I watch a lot of podcasts and sort of get a lot of info from them, what I did discover, excuse me, is that vests are in. So the vests are the bee's knees. So I thought, oh, I'd get on that bandwagon, because being a woman of my age, I can get rather hot, and long sleeves and wool jerseys can, you know, sometimes be challenge to wear. So I thought vests are perfect for me. So I thought, oh, I'm going to get on that bandwagon now. And I was watching Fruity Knitting, Andrea and her daughter, I've forgotten her daughter's name, and the daughter had just knit this Ribblesdale. I always get it stuck because we've got a Riversdale here in the Wairarapa, Ribblesdale, and it's by Lily Kate French, and it is a brioche. So it's the first time I've ever done brioche, so it was certainly a year of learning. Quite enjoyed doing it, but there's a lot of knitting. It takes a lot of wool. So I made this really nice button-up vest, and I really like wearing it. It's really comfortable. It looks really great with a shirt underneath it. I love the buttons I chose. Love. I don't know if I can't see, so if you can see the buttons, good luck. But I love the buttons that I picked for it, quite different. And it's one of the other things that I've never done before is a, what do you call them? I-cord bind off on the rib band, and I quite like that too. It kind of gives it matches the brioche. So that was number two, and that I enjoyed. I did this it's a New Zealand company called Skeins. I did it in a Skeins wool called Vintage, and it is a 10-ply, and I can't remember the colour name, I'm sorry, but yeah, really lovely. It has pilled a lot, so I do need to depill it, and I got a depilling comb for Christmas, so I can do that now. So that was number two. Then my sister and I took some of the kids out, our family out to the beach for a week, and I thought, right, I've got to have a new cast on for that. This was in end of January, middle of January. And so I decided, because as I said, I love shawls, and I loved that Sublime cashmere wool, so I really wanted to do something else with it. So I cast on this one, which I got the idea from make sure it's the right way around, Needles at the Ready, Kevin and Rae. So Kevin had this on, and I just absolutely love it. It is a, let me check, I don't want to get it wrong. Isabel Kramer, and it's called Paris Toujours, and I really enjoyed knitting this. In fact, I'm composing a scarf in my head at the moment, and I'm going to use these stitches. Maybe not the shape, because it's an unusual shape to wear. I like wearing it because I don't mind, because I'm quite a big woman. I don't mind unusual shapes, but it's a shape that you have to kind of put on and leave on. You can't just sort of fling it on and be happy with, because it's just not quite right. But again, that had the I-cord edge on couple of the edges. You start at one end. It's huge. It's huge. As you can see, I thoroughly enjoyed knitting it. I love wearing it, love the colour. And so that was number 2 that I started on the beach. So Paris Toujours. Highly recommend that pattern. Very easy to follow too. Isabel Kramer's very well known, so yeah. So the next one, I'll have a break for a minute and I'll tell you some of my little Christmas gifties. My granddaughter gave me a bauble for my tree, and it's a ball of wool. Isn't that cute? Eh? So I'm actually going to hang it. I thought I might hang it up there. I don't know. We'll see how does that look. Yeah, so because I don't want to put it away. I want to keep it out for on my wall. Oops, the wall's coming apart. Better get it up before it gets too battered around. That is just the cutest little thing. I got lots of lovely things for Christmas. I hope you did too. Some, really cute little dinky things and Christmassy things, and yeah, but it was more this special thing for me was spending time with my grandchildren. When my sister and I, when we got together, there was 24 of us. There's so many, and we love a big traditional lunch that we actually had it in the Scout Hall. It was brilliant. The kids, where there was room, there was space, the kids could run around, they could spread out after they'd had their presents. And excuse me, that's Kenzie growling. Someone's obviously outside with something. So that's a little break from that. Talking very fast, and I'm just worried about whether I'm going to get through these. I should take a breath. Are you still with me? Great. So the next one, and I'm guessing in reflection when I look at what I've knit, there was a lot of challenging myself, a lot of new learning, and I think that kept me motivated and kept me going. It's like I had found my mojo for knitting again, and so I wanted to learn some new skills, and there's a lot of new skills from when I first learned to knit. I first was introduced to knitting by my father when I was 4 and played around with it, and then as I got a little older, 7 or 8, my mum started really teaching me, and I had a lovely thing said to me not long ago from my mother's goddaughter. She said, the student has passed the master. And I thought, oh gosh, hope mum's proud, because she was a fantastic knitter. My next one is another Libby Johnson, and because I was I still am a member of her wardrobe toolbox. So there was a couple of 3 or 4 early in the piece of Libby, so I make no apologies. I like her patterns. This is called Embers, and that was my first ever colour work, and it was my first ever steeking. So I've never steeked before. So this is a steeked cardigan, and I love the colours. I'm really, really proud of that, actually. I've enjoyed this. This again is in skeins wool again, 8-ply skeins in New Zealand wool. And again, I can't remember the colour, but hey ho. And a Libby Johnson pattern. I was quite frightened by steeking, so I actually finished the jersey then to be cardigan, and I left it sitting for some time because, yeah, it intimidated me. But I mean, it's not a fabulous job. I did stretch it a bit, which did annoy me, but for your first time, you can't expect perfection. I wear it. I love it. It's very warm. very warm, but it's a great jersey to pick up on super, super cold days, which we haven't been having. We've been having, my glasses are actually slipping off my face now with sweat, I'm afraid. So, yeah, we haven't been having cold days. So, my next one, after that one, I thought maybe I'd better do something a little bit more summery. I suppose this would have been in the middle of winter. I was just trying to think. So one of the reasons I have a lot of knitting is because I had a fairly major surgery back in February. It was supposed to be a 2-hour surgery and a 6-hour recovery. It turned out being 4 hours and in HDU overnight and an 8-week recovery. So hence a lot of knitting took place, and then I just started to recover from that and I got COVID, so there was more knitting from that. And then of course winter, I always knit a lot in the winter, and so this one I thought I better get ready for summer, so I better make some lighter weight ones. And again, no apologies, this is another Libby Johnson. There are others coming that aren't, so you can get some more ideas, but this is another Libby Johnson. It's called Sasha. It is a 4-ply. I absolutely love wearing this. Love, love, love wearing it. It's got beautiful little lacy sort of panel down the sleeves, 3/4 sleeves with the little curl, which I love those little curl ends. Really, this is just beautiful. And the other reason it's beautiful is it is a New Zealand indie dyer, Happy Go Knitty, Helene, and she does this in merino silk yak, so it is exquisite wool, so exquisite that after I knitted this I bought 2 more jersey lots, and they're around somewhere. I've got a plan for 1 lot and another lot tucked away. So yeah, you just fall in love with the wool and then you realise, and it's just stunning. So that is just a nice boxy, very comfortable top. Sasha. So that's that one. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now we get into some more shawls. It was the year of the shawls, I have to say. I did go on a dyeing workshop, so we learned how to dye wool. You can look back on my podcasts to get more detail on all this. I will have talked in detail in one of the podcasts about it over the year. By the way, this is podcast number 25. Funny, I finished the year on podcast number 24. So I dyed these wools, these 3 wools myself. One was the speckled, one was the semi-solid, and one was the solid. And I knitted a shawl. This shawl is called, sorry, forgive me, I've forgotten. Oh, just as well keep these books, eh? Embrace. It's called Embrace, and it was by, haven't written the, oh yes, there we go, Meg Gadsby. Embrace by Meg Gadsby, and it is, it's such a lovely pattern. I've actually knit another one, which I'll show you, a second one, because I now have it in my head. Very simple, if you want just easy TV knitting, and I love the shape. It's such a lovely shape shawl to wear. This is one, not like the Toujours, but one that you can just put on. You don't have to worry about what it looks like. It's, you know, it's going to sit, it's going to fit. And yeah, I just absolutely love the shape style, and it's such easy knitting. It's all, I mean, it's just garter stitch. So there was no, I guess I probably just needed it actually after everything I'd done. No new skills, no challenge. It was just knit. And I've got this pattern in my head now, which is even better. I don't even have to carry the pattern around. If I ever want to cast something on, I could do it. Yep, highly recommend Embrace by Meg Gadsby. Very simple, very easy shawl. So that was obviously one of my sort of just cleanse the palette shawls, I think. But it was quite cool using dyes that I dyed myself, wool that I dyed myself. And that was Squishy McDougall, Margaret. from Squishy McDougall, another New Zealand indie dyer who took the dyeing workshop, and I'm really chuffed with it. So I got some dye and some wool to, I was going to do it in the summer, and no, not with the rain, because I'm not going to do it inside, but not with this rain. I won't be doing it at all. So that must have been, yes, now we're up to July, so that must have been June, because I know this was July, because I wore, this must have been, the next one must have been June, because I wore it on the 1st of July to a function. And this is another new pattern that I've not done before, but everybody talks about it, is the Ranunculus by Midori Hirosa. Is that right? Midori Hirosa. And I can see why they love them. I'll be making more. Loved making my Ranunculus. I made it out of 4-ply merino that I had brought from the shop, which was a pink, flecky pink, and then I matched it with a it was called faux mo, so it was a faux mohair, so it was acrylic, but I you know, I just bought it because I did. I actually can't, to be honest, I don't like mohair. It makes me play with my nose and brush fluff off my face all the time. But anyway, loved it. I can see it's lovely fit. I made, you know, again, I made short sleeves because I just can't cope with anything long. Good length. I wore this to an event in the evening, so it looked really pretty with, what did I wear underneath? What I wore? Yeah, just some nice purple slacks, and it just looked really pretty. I will definitely make more of those, but you know, in the future, if I'm just looking for something simple, I can see why people make it. I didn't cock up the lace, but again, yeah, really good pattern. Highly recommend, again, as everybody else does. I suppose the acrylic is not the greatest. You probably have to wash it more than wool. You know what it's like with wool. You can wear it without having to wash them. But with acrylic, yeah, it'll probably have to be washed a bit more. But hey ho, we'll have a break and I'll show you another thing that I was given as a gift. I am talking fast. Still got a pile down there. I hope you're still with me. When my brother-in-law had a medical event a few months ago, I went and helped my sister. I looked after their dog and at their house, and she gave me a wee gift from her dog, Bailey. She said, this is from Bailey, and it's a thank you for looking after my dogs. Look at this. Her glasses keep slipping on, but she's got knitting in her hands. I hope I don't look that old, but it just sits. She's just gorgeous. So thank you, Trudy. That was just a thank you, Bailey. A thank you from my sister. Yeah, really cute. Lovely velvet dress. I don't know what she's knitting, but it's pink, so I approve. Yeah, that was a thank you from my sister. Lovely. So where are we at? So we're up to July. So I wore the Ranunculus on the 1st of July, so I knew that that's where we were up to. So we're in the middle of winter. My next one was, and this is one of my favourites of the year, I have to say, and I 100% will be knitting more of these. This is my anchor, and if I remember who the anchor by Petite Knits, and this I saw this on Jonathan Day's podcast. I love Jonathan Day's. I watched him this morning actually, and he was doing the same thing, going through all of his knits for the year. He'd knitted himself one and one for his boyfriend. So you can get my boyfriend, you can get ladies, you can get summer, and you can get children's, I think. Love this. Love the fit. Love the way it sits on my body. Love how comfortable it is. Did short sleeve, but you could quite happily do long sleeves. I made a great length, and of course I love the colour, purple and pink. Well, purple and pink, my two favourite colours, and red. Didn't do any red this year, did I? No, That's unusual. Oh, well, I suppose I did, because I'm going to talk about this. I did this year, so it's kind of a red. Purple, pink and red are my favourite colours. Yeah, super recommend this. Really great to knit. Really cool pattern, really unique, really comfortable. I did knit it in, which I don't mind too much. I brought a very cheap wool from, we've got Uncle Bill's here. I don't know whereabouts you are from when you're watching this, but Uncle Bill's is kind of like a cheap sort of small warehouse that most of our towns have. And it had some cheap wool. It's 100% pure wool. I can't even remember the title of the wool. Did I write it down? But it's really quite rustic. I don't mind, and you don't feel it during the day at all. But yeah, this would have to be my up there favourite for the year, and I want another one of those. I just love it. Love the fit, love everything about it. So I highly recommend that. So that is called Anchor, and it is by Petite Knits. Yeah, so the next one, let me have a look. Next one. So the one I'm wearing was my last finished, but it came up as knitting in the list. So I'll show you this one now. So I should have said at the beginning what I was wearing. This is one that I just made up myself. So I just looked at all different patterns and thought, oh, that one has cast on that much at the bottom. That one has cast on this much here. All I wanted was just to throw on cardigan that is comfortable. I was going to make long sleeves, but I didn't. I'll show you. It's almost a bomber length, nice 3/4 length there. I wanted one that sat just nicely, that didn't fall off my shoulders. Again, I was going to do long sleeve, but I just chose not to. And love the buttons on these. Again, actually choosing buttons for cardigans is quite fun. This again was, what was this wool? This is a Skeins wool again, Skeins vintage, 8 ply. It's called Chili. So because I made the pattern up, I just call it my chili cardigan. So yeah, I knit it with bands on it because I couldn't be bothered picking up. I really just wanted, I don't know what I wanted. I had this wool that I brought when I was up in Cairn in August last year. I bought enough for a jersey lot, and because I love the colour, and I've obviously knit with the wool several times before and love the wool, and so I just thought, right, I'm just going to make myself a nice cardigan to throw on over skirts and dresses and things, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. A couple of things I did not so well. I mean, we always pick out the things we didn't do so well, did we? My band's back the front, so that should be the right side of the band. But again, a blind man would be pleased to see it. Buttons are dear. $2 something or other. $2.20 or something for one button. Oh my God. I'm going to go to the op shop now. Because my sister runs an op shop, and she told me that they've got a lady that cuts all the buttons off things that have had it and sells them. So yeah, I will go. But yeah, just a simple, what is it? It's a, what do you call that sleeve again? Drop shoulder. Short sleeve. Again, I like short sleeve because I can breathe in them. And so that was my I started off with a pattern called the Marja cardi, but I couldn't even be bothered reading the pattern. I think I was just brain dead, and so that's when I made my shawl that I just wanted to garter stitch, and I didn't mind knitting a garment, but I just wanted brain dead that I didn't have to think too much about. So and that's what this was. So this was my second to last knit for the year, but I had started it in between those cardis, so that's why. Now my next one Oh, my book is falling to bits, so I'm going to have to sellotape it up. My pages are falling out. Oh dear. My next one is another one of my absolute favourites. Now, I haven't worn this. Haven't worn it yet. I think I've worn it once because it started getting warm. So we started getting into summer, and I can't be doing with knits in the summer. This one here is this, and oh God, I love this wool. This is pure alpaca, 100% alpaca that I brought on special at Cannes from a lady who was stash busting. I love, love, love this colour, and it's just, I mean, it's better than butter. It's like, I don't know, I can't even explain it. It's so soft. I am worried about alpaca. I have read and heard on podcasts that it, doesn't bounce back, so if it starts getting out of shape. So I did make it with just a small amount of positive ease. So I didn't make it really loose. I made it not snug, because this body doesn't do snug, but so that if it does give out, and it has been blocked and didn't, I will, it should be okay to still wear. It's got a nice split in the side, and I made it quite long, and the back is slightly longer than the front. I wished I'd made the back a little bit more longer than the front. It's because it does, when it's on, it's quite a difference, it's a good 1.5 inches or so there, but when it's on it doesn't show much, and I kind of quite liked that. But anyway, those are things. I also, knowing that alpaca doesn't give much, the pattern said to knit the bands and the neck in the same size needle as the body, and I didn't. I changed to a smaller needle, so it was a firmer one. Again, not pointing out mistakes. I, somewhere along the way, cocked up my rib and did that there, but I don't like folded over turtlenecks anyway. I like them squished up so you don't even see it, so I didn't bother. It's just one of those wools that you just can't stop touching. Anyway, that was probably around August, I think I knitted that. Love, love, love it. Can't wait for it to get cooler, for me to wear it a bit more with a nice, I've got a lovely broderie anglaise shirt with a puffed 3/4 sleeve, and I think that it will look quite cute with that. Where am I up to? Oh, by golly, there's a lot of knitting going on there. I wonder if I should count all the stitches. Be intriguing. As I say, this isn't my normal sort of amount of knitting. I have had an exceptional year of being, stuck at home and on the couch with recovery from surgery and COVID and winter. One of the things that I did find, and this is because I'm a social worker, I didn't say at the beginning, I have been a social worker for over 35 years, and my degree's in psychology, so my mode of work is based on psych. And one of the things that I found that I had struggled with, or struggling with now, is getting my mojo back for walking, because I've been a walker all my life. I love walking. I mean, I've done half marathons and, always walked big walks. And because I've lost my fitness for a start, but I've also lost my mojo, just can't be bothered getting up. And so I was wondering psychologically how I can sort of push myself back into it. And so I was listening to some podcasts, which I often do, from lecturers from Stanford University, etc. And one of them was talking about this very subject, and he was saying that there are 3 stages of getting, he didn't call it mojo, he said getting your passion or your drive back. 3 stages. The first stage is discipline, the second stage is action, and the third stage is getting your drive back or your mojo. So you've got to do the discipline first, and that's I just have to do this, and whether you like it or not, you just got to do your discipline, and that's the getting ready bit, finding at the time, getting all of that ready, and then you've got to do the action, so you've actually just got to get up and do, and then you eventually start getting your mojo back. So not quite there yet, but I'm certainly doing the 2 stages. I've been getting up most mornings, I think every morning bar 2 this last week, and going for a walk in the mornings. And I think, yeah, so hopefully I can get my mojo back. It's not there yet, I have to say, but I'm doing the discipline and I'm doing the action. There's quite a involved explanation on dopamine, which is your reward and your motivation neurotransmitter in your brain, and how that gets stimulated along the way. But I won't go into that today because we've got enough to look at. And I think I have talked about dopamine and the reward system with knitting anyway. But dopamine also is the neurotransmitter that gives you the motivation. That's the one that pushes you forward and gets you going, as well as the reward hit. So, a little bit of psych there for you. Where are we up to? We must be getting through them. We are getting through them. So the next one. Oh, some socks. Oh, that page has fallen out. So I started getting into some socks in because we were starting to get into the warmer weather. Excuse me, I'll get rid of this because somebody's trying to ring me. And so I did these socks first. And again, as I have been saying all the way through, trying to find my mojo for socks. I absolutely love wearing homemade woolen socks. Never found the passion to knit them, but I have to say I'm getting there. It's the discipline, action, mojo. So I'm definitely in the mojo stage, as you'll see, because I've made 3 pair of socks in the last few months. These ones here were my first ones this year, and they were a New Zealand wool from called Gallipoli. And when you bought the skein of wool, you they donated automatically some money towards return soldiers through Anzac. So I liked that theory. So I made these, and they were just the Crazy Sock Ladies 9-inch circular needles. So I did the 9-inch dog hair on them, which is not unusual for me. Can't say I enjoyed doing this bit. They've actually thickened a wee bit because I've worn them quite a bit. I didn't enjoy doing the flap because I found with tiny stitches I couldn't work out whether I was ribbing or knitting. But to be honest, after they start thickening a bit, you can't even tell whether I've ribbed or knit them. So I don't know why I was worried. But yeah, that was my first pair. Really happy with them. Self-striping sock. Funniest of stripes, but there we go. I bought the wool not because I liked it, but because of the ethos around it. So that was a pair of socks. And then I made another pair of socks. So this was wool that I brought in Carterton, which is a little township just down the road from me. It's a self-striping wool and it's called Cruchy. And I love the self-striping. And I love the feel of it. It's lovely soft wool. It's a, what do you call them when you can wash it? Super wash, is it? Anyway, it's a washable sock. I have made them too big. It's the 9-inch circular again, but you can see that it's, mind you, I've lived in them. I have to say I've lived in them. I'm saying goodbye to my partner. I've stretched the tops of them. They are too big, but they fold, they're scrunched down, which is quite nice. They're a wee bit too big in the foot, and so, you know, it's all learning. Socks are a new thing for me, so I'm learning. But love the colour. And my niece commented on them the other day, and I thought, well, if they actually really start to bother me size-wise, because they're actually quite big. Sometimes I'm sitting there watching TV and the heel has turned around up onto the top of my foot. So what the hell's that? What's the heel of my sock? I might wash them and give them to her. So I know that they'll fit her and she could do with them. So that could be the case. But that was sock pair number 2, and definitely starting to enjoy knitting socks by then. I love the 9-inch circs and just going round and round and round and round and round. I love the self-striping because you've kind of got this benchmark to follow, and I can do them in the taxi on the way to town. So that was the next thing. And then the next thing was another So start with a vest, and I finish with this, and then almost end with a vest. So this was the Petite Knits Weekend Slipover. I got this, I liked this when I was watching Grocery Girls, and is it Jodie, the darker haired sister, was wearing it, and I thought, yep, that's definitely me. So I got a voucher for some wool for Evans's, which is a fabric and sewing shop in town, and so I bought some wool with my voucher from my partner, and it's lovely wool. It is, let me see, getting to the stage where I can't remember things now. It is Highlander 12 ply. There it is there. I forget that I sellotape the labels onto my book. Highlander 12 ply. I think it's a superwash, because what worries me is I've made it, it's quite oversized. It looks huge, and it is. I do want it oversized. I want it so that I can wear it over jeans and a nice white shirt or a t-shirt, and it's supposed to look oversized. I love the V-neck, the V under the arm, so you match your V in the front, your V-neck at the front, which was super easy to do. That was a new skill for me. I've never done that style. I've done lots of V-neck, but never that style. And you do it match it underneath. So I love this. I am worried that the wool is, and I talked quite a bit about this in the last couple of podcasts. I'd start knitting and I love the wool. Then I'd knit some more and then I'd hate the wool. And then I'd start knitting, I think, carry on, Donna, and I'd love the wool. And it's been a love-hate relationship with the wool, but I love it on. Love, love, love. It's perfect. Love the colour, love the feel, love the fit. It's nice and loose and baggy, but I am worried that it's going to stretch to Billy-O. So we'll see how we go, because I blocked it and it did stretch quite a bit too as well. I suppose I could always shorten it if it goes too long lengthwise. Mind you, I'm 6 foot, so. But yeah, so that was the Weekender. Hang on. Weekender Slipover by Petite Knits. Enjoyed that. Again, another plain, simple knit. A couple of things that I've learnt. A new style of V-neck, which I will do again. And it's so easy. Petite knit patterns are lovely to knit, nice to follow, and she does those contiguous, I think that's what it's called, shoulders, where you start knitting from the back and then you knit almost like a yoke from the back and then the front, and it's sort of you don't have you do have a seam at the top, but it doesn't show, it's contiguous. So yeah, really happy with that. Can't wait for it to get cold enough, because there ain't no way I'm wearing it now for that. Nearly there, guys, nearly there. So I think we might be on to, but 2 to go, 2 items to go. So by the end of the year I was starting to get a bit brain fried, as you do, just normal sort of head was full, so I just wanted a simple knit again. I had brought some wool that I really liked from Cairn back in August, from Sue's Hand Knitted Yarns. She's got a Facebook page. She's another indie dyer in New Zealand, and so I wanted to knit that up, and so I just did another one of those scarves that I really love, the nice easy one. God, this wool's lovely. That's the speckled and then the semi-speckled. So there's 2 there. It fades from one to the other. And at the end, I didn't know what to do, so I thought I would finish it off with a panel of lace. And what I did is I used a pattern that I'd knit a couple of years ago and used the pattern for that. So again, one of those nice shape ones where you don't have to worry about, when you put it on, that it's going to be the right shape or not. Yeah, nice colours, will look great with a denim jacket. So that was my second to last knit for 2022. So We're on to the last. This is the penultimate. And I really enjoyed that. Just nice, simple garter stitch. I knew the pattern in my head. I took this because I went to Australia to visit my grandchildren over there, and I took this wool over with me, and I didn't need a pattern, so I just was able to knit without thinking when I was over in Aussie. So really enjoyed it. It actually looks quite nice. It matches my the last one, my slip over, so weekend slip over. So I think, you know, that's probably two that I'll wear together. So then we were getting into December, and I'm not a gift knitter because I love my family, but they really, yeah, they don't, and I hate that they're not knit worthy because it sounds awful. I don't mean it like that, but yeah, they don't do woolens, and that's okay. That's fine. Everybody's different. So I don't do gift knits. So I made myself, my last thing for the year, a pair of socks. Another pair of socks. Now, definitely thoroughly enjoyed knitting these. So I've got my sock mojo. And this was a great pattern. I will be doing this again. It's DK instead of 4-ply. I don't know how they're going to go in a pair of boots, but I think they'll be okay. Yeah, but ribs, so they're, you know, a good fit because they're snug on my feet. They were super quick to knit and easy being DK. I did the magic loop. I didn't do the 9-inch circs because you only had 40 stitches. So and I didn't rib the heel flap. I just stocking stitched. This pattern is Andrea Mowry. Is that Andrea Mowry's? Is it Sunday Socks? Is it Andrea Mary? I hope it is. Sorry, Andrea, if it's not, but I think it is. Sunday Socks. Or is it Petite Knits? Oh my God, I haven't got it with me. And it's not, I normally write things in my book. And I haven't, so I'm sorry. But anyway, they're called Sunday Socks. If you Googled Sunday Socks, you'd find them. Thoroughly enjoyed knitting these. I will definitely be doing DK socks again. I don't wear slippers in the house because I like to feel the floor, like my feet solid on the floor with my sight. I can sense and feel, you know, when I'm coming up on carpet or when I'm on the vinyl or where there's a mat. So I don't wear slippers. Socks are ideal because I can still feel those different textures and bumps and lumps on the floor. And that's a tip if you do have sight challenges. Try, you know, wearing like flat shoes so that you can feel underneath. I like shoes when I'm traveling or anything. I like a softer shoe that I can actually feel steps and bumps and lumps underneath. Yeah, just a tip for if you are vision impaired or struggle with tripping over mats and things. So I wear socks like for slippers. So I have loved these. These are squishy McDougall's. I think it's an 80-20 wool mix and just one of her one-off dyes. Yeah, really good. Really highly recommend Sunday Socks. It is Petite Knit, I think. Oh, I should go and get the pattern, but I can't be bothered. Sorry, guys. Sunday Socks. Highly recommend. In fact, I'm ready to cast on another pair now. So, and my partner's a farmer, and he wears pure wool farm socks, which aren't pink, that are identical to this. And I said to him, look, dear, I can make you work socks. Funnily enough, he wasn't keen to try that on. But they are identical to his work socks. So if I really get a mojo for socks, I could knit him some socks. But he's got piles at the moment, so doesn't need. There we go. 2022. Boom. Done. I hope you enjoyed watching all of what I've done. I think there are something like 3 shawls, 3 tank tops, 3 jerseys, and 3 socks, all of the threes. And you know, partridge in a pear tree, no, and a cardigan. So I've really enjoyed my year of knitting. As I say, it was an exceptional year for me, and I did have a lot of knit time. But yesterday, what I did, and my next podcast will probably talk about this, I got all of my project bags and I set them in front of me, and I put the wool in the things that I want to make, and I put the needles, the proper size needles, and printed out the patterns. So I've got 4 or 5 project bags all sitting there with what I want to do. So yeah, that's the beginning of this year started. I've already the other one that I did start last year as well is the Birkin, and I've talked about that quite a bit. The Birkin is it, I'll just find out who the designer is. The Birkin is oh no, see, that's something I'm going to have to get into the habit of writing in there, because I haven't. Anyway, I'll talk more about it because I'm starting to get back into it. I started it, it's a 4-ply colour work, so I needed a lot of thought process, so it didn't get, I only got about halfway through it, and I really want to finish it because I think it's going to look lovely. So I'll talk about that next time as well. Anyway, that's the end of my podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much if you've lasted to the end. I look forward to watching all of the other podcasts that give there. I love watching everybody's, what they've knitted in 2022, what their projects are going to be 2023. So yeah, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now. Google stop.